Hi, I'm Eric Bullion for Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Let's get straight to our top story, the most power-packed power lunch in the country at the White House today. The president met with top congressional leaders over the midday meal, chowing down on bib lettuce and herb-crusted sea bass. Both parties say they want to break the partisan gridlock plaguing Capitol Hill and are pledging to find common ground. But is this all just the same empty-calorie rhetoric we've heard before? Joining me now with reaction from Washington, Republican strategist Mercedes Schlapp, and along with radio talk show host and Democratic strategist Richard Fowler. Let me start with you, Richard. So you saw the thumping, the trashing that went down on Tuesday night. The president brings bipartisan leaders to the White House and says what? He says it's time to compromise. Now, if you're a Republican, put your Republican hat on for a second. Why in the world would you compromise after you have the big win?
Hey, listen, I got to tell you, we got thumped. We'll own that. We'll own that. We'll take our defeat. We'll wear our badge. But I think this is the truth here. For Mitch McConnell and John Boehner, they have one thing on their mind. Their one thing on their mind is make sure they can get back the White House and maintain control of the United States Senate in 2016. Mitch McConnell will have 20 seats up that he's going to have, 22 seats that he's going to have to defend. So that means they've got to get something done for the American people so they can go back home and sell it.
Fair enough. Let me stay with you, Richard, though. But, I remember Obamacare when President Obama had both chambers in the House and the Senate. And we got Obamacare, and most people didn't really want it. I remember hundreds of thousands of illegal children coming across our southern border, and President Obama said, it's my way or the highway. All of a sudden, now both chambers are held by Republicans, and the Republicans are supposed to compromise?
Well, listen, it's split government, right? On their side of Pennsylvania Avenue, they've got to get something done, Eric. I mean, look, case in point, in the state of Arkansas, while they voted for Tom Cotton, the state of Arkansas also voted to raise the minimum wage, which means the American people, the constituents, are calling for solution-driven Washington, and we have to give it to them, whether you're Democrat or Republican.
The American people are wanting to stop Obama. That is their goal. That is what they voted for on Tuesday, and that is why we've seen the massive change that we're going to see in Congress.
All right, so Mercedes, let me ask you this then. Let me put the other hat on. I'll ask you, the American people spoke, and they voted out a lot of the people that we all thought were going to be incumbents and continue on. The Republicans came with younger, came with more females, came with more minorities. Maybe they are saying it's time for change, not business as usual in D.C.
Well, I got to tell you, the Republicans really put forth incredible candidates like Joni Ernst, like Cory Gardner. I mean, these people ran on important issues that were affecting the voters. On the economy, for instance, they didn't just step up to this Democratic play on war on women and all. So basically, I think for Republicans. Well,
I hate to interrupt you.
No. Yes. So don't interrupt me, because for Republicans, for the most part, here it is that the voters are saying the economy is the most important issue. We need to stop this gridlock, and we're going to give the GOP a chance. Apparently, they are not very thrilled with the direction that President Obama has taken this country, and that is why I believe under this new leadership, as long as President Obama doesn't just screw it up by going on with unilateral action on immigration, then I think you're going to see that maybe we can get something done in Washington.
Here's the thing. I agree with you 100%. You guys ran great candidates. We won't dispute the fact. You ran people who can campaign. But sadly, Eric, the Republicans didn't run on a vision for America. They didn't say what they were going to do. This was not 1994. It's not Newt Gingrich. They don't have a contract for America. They haven't outlined a plan.
Maybe, Richard, because they didn't like the last 6 years. They were promised a lot of hope and change. Didn't get much hope.
But they have got nothing from the Republican
Party. The change they got, they really didn't want. Let's talk about a couple of key issues here. One of the things a lot of people are saying that now that there's a Republican Senate as well as House, Keystone Pipeline should come and it should land on the president's desk. That should be the first thing that he sees with the new Congress in January. Your thoughts on what President Obama would do? By the way, if President Obama vetoes a Keystone Pipeline at this point, can you imagine what it's going to be like in 2016 for Democrats?
Listen, I got to tell you, listen, there's a lot of environments that'll be mad at me, but I think the president should pass the Keystone Pipeline in exchange for raising the minimum wage. I think that's something we can all agree on. I think Tom Cotton has to vote to raise the minimum wage anyway because the state voted to do it. So let's make a deal. Let's put Keystone on the line. Let's raise the minimum wage for working class families. Something that we could both agree on. Let's get it done.
All right, let me throw another one to you, Mercedes. What about immigration? President Obama has vowed that he's going to somehow, some way get 4 or 5 million illegals amnesty by the end of the year. Your thoughts, and if he does that through the executive fiat versus going through Congress, which he would have a tough time now.
Sure. He's in a very difficult difficult position. Several months ago, he leaked this out that he was going to take executive action on immigration, which, of course, created all this hope for the Latino community. Then he took it a step back. He pulled the rug away from them, and basically then, because of the Democratic candidates in these swing states, that basically said, please don't do that. So he is pretty much in a position that he needs to do something because he made that promise. So if he does take that action, Eric, I really believe that it's going to start off with a hostile environment in Congress, especially when the relationship between McConnell, Boehner, and the president, it's so delicate that to really start off going on immigration by the end of the year, I think could really have a negative impact
but Mercedes,
for the beginning of next year.
Here's the thing, Eric, on immigration. So listen, for Republicans to win the White House, every pollster, Democrat or Republican, will tell you they have to get 40% of Latinos. For that to happen, Republicans have to move on immigration reform. Marco Rubio knew it. Marco Rubio knew it. And let me be also very clear. In the president's press conference, he said, I will pass an executive order, but there was a but there, and the but was that any law passed by Congress will supersede my executive order.
No. He said any law that hit his desk that he approved of, so he would have the final say.
Of course, he doesn't approve any bill.
That's
the job of the president.
No. He can veto, and if he didn't like it, he could likely veto it.
He could sign
keeping his executive order in place, superseding what Congress puts on his desk. Before I go, is this a referendum on President Obama, Mercedes? Haven't we? Is that what we've seen here in this major transformation of the GOP into power in D.C.?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that the voters ask themselves, do they feel safer than they did 6 years ago? They ask themselves, are they economically performing better? It's kind of interesting that the GDP has grown 3% in the last quarter, but the voters weren't feeling it. And so they're giving the GOP a chance to lead.
All right, we're going to leave it. Speaking of that, we have to leave it right there. Richard Mercedes, thank you very much.